Hey everyone, my name is Anu and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm just going to talk about something which is, I honestly never thought I would talk about it, which is the fact that I failed and I failed JE and that I'm the dumbest person in tech. So I have tried to convince all of you a lot that I'm smart and that if you look at my LinkedIn profile, you'll see that I have done a couple of internships. I have worked at Intuit, I've worked at Twitter, I've worked at Google, I'm still working at Google. But the truth is that deep down, I am still the dumbest person in the room. In this video, I'm just going to talk about what I actually did, how being ordinary is your superpower, and how I actually got into Google after failing J. So I did not get into an IIT, I did not get any good NITs as well. I got a rank of 23,866 to be exact. But still, at the end of the day, if you look at my profile, if you look at everything that I've done, you see that there is a person who has achieved a lot of things. There's a person who's so-called successful, who's earning well, and I just want to talk about how you can do that as well. There's nothing special about people who have made it big in life, and that is where Mirai School of Technology comes in, because at companies like Mang and other top tech giants, skills matter more than degrees. And this isn't just my opinion. Anyone with 2 or more years of industry experience will tell you the same. I have seen graduates from tier 2 or tier 3 colleges land roles at Mang companies with impressive compensation packages solely based on their practical skills. And in today's market, relying purely on theory is outdated. What's required is hands-on learning in AI and ML from day one. And when I was exploring strong BTech programs in AI ML, I came across Mirai School of Technology. Their BTech curriculum is designed to build real-world competencies right from the first year, and students get hand-on experience with over 15 AI tools. So you have ChatGPT, GitHub Copilot, and Hugging Face. In your first year, you'll have focus on programming, right? Python, C++, JavaScript, and mathematical foundations of AI. In your second year, you will go and learn about core concepts such as machine learning, natural language processing, and system design. In your third year, you'll learn about advanced topics like Gen AI, DAL-E, Midjourney, and large language models, which is LLMs. Fourth year, you will do project development and scaling through cloud deployment using platforms like AWS or GCP. And I'm also currently working on GCP, so you know that. This practical, tool-based, and industry-relevant approach makes the program efficient and effective with current tech industry demands. So go check out Mirai BTech in AI/ML, as the last date to apply is 4th July. And admission process is also very simple. Apply for the Mirai National Screening Test, which is the mains test, and that will be on 5th July. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what did I do differently? So it all started with my first semester. So in my first semester, I was totally lost. I was into many clubs and many societies, college clubs, and they were just asking me to do things where I was not learning anything. And very soon I realized that this is not going to work. If I want to make some money, if I want to do well in life, this is clearly not the path that I have to take. And then there was this session, I will never forget that, where someone from some coaching institute came and taught us about that there are two kind of companies that computer science students can get into. One of them is the product based companies, and the other is the service based companies. So this, for me as a middle class person, was the safest path to take, that I get into a good high paying job. So there's product based companies and there's service based companies. So service based companies are the ones where you don't actually get to build client facing products. You're instead building services which will be used by these big tech companies. So here the CTC or the salary that you get will generally be in the range of at max 6 lakh, and that is like at max. Generally it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 lakhs per annum. So that is your service based companies, and then you switch over and you come to product based companies. So now these product based companies are the companies that are actually building products for users. So if you look around yourself, you will see Google is a huge one, but if you see other things like Swiggy, Zepto, Zomato, and Uber, so all of these are actually building products which will be used by you, the end user. And these companies pay a lot. These companies will give you that crazy 40 LPA, 50 lakhs per annum, 60 lakhs per annum package. They are going to give you that. The service based companies will not. The service based companies are the ones which are like Wipro, Infosys, and generally people who don't get into good colleges, they generally go into that. But if you want, you can move from this service based lane to the product based lane. And this is not just for people who are still in college. Even if you're currently someone who's working in a service based company and you're watching this, you can still move over to this product based company area. But then what is it that you need to do? I still remember that session where the person said that the only thing that differentiates these two companies in this particular time is data structures and algorithms. Yes, DSA. Everybody hates data structures and algorithms. Unless you are the one who really likes solving problems, solving algorithms, then you will go for like competing into world competitions like ICPC, or you probably win medals. That is another thing. But if your goal is to get into a good paying, high paying, big tech job, then you still have to do DSA, even if you hate it. Okay. So that is the one thing that differentiates these two companies, DSA. So that is the one thing that I came to know when I was in my first year. And I instantly realized that if I have to get into these product based companies, I have to do DSA. And so my journey in DSA started from my second semester itself. I left all of the society which were not giving me anything. I stopped concentrating on college classes which were not giving me enough education. I just started preparing one day before the exams or one week before the exams. And I just started preparing a lot in DSA. But first thing that you have to do when you start doing DSA is you need to pick up a coding language. So what is a coding language? A coding language is something that you will use to solve problems. Like let's say your current mother tongue is English or Hindi. So that way in computing, in programming, you have your coding language. So if you want to get into DSA, there's only three options from which you should generally choose from, which is Java, Python, and C++. So only these three things that you will have to choose from. And don't get into this debate of which language is the best. Should I go with Java? Don't do this. Any of these three are equally good. They all have their advantages, disadvantages, like any other thing. There is no one perfect language. You need to just pick one language from among these three and get into it. So what I did is I started learning Java and I started doing DSA. Now, what about how did I go about doing DSA? And I completed it till the end. I solved about 600 questions and I did not leave that playlist behind. Now, there were many courses that kept coming in. There were people who were giving up their new courses. There were newer, better courses that were coming in the market. And there were multiple sheets that were coming in that if you do this sheet, you'll get into a product based company, 150 sheet, 200 sheet. But I was just focused on completing that thing that I started with. So if I chose that I'm going to complete this playlist, I'm going to complete these 600 questions, I will not move on to anything else until I complete that. And that determination is the only thing that got me to here. So by the time that my classmates and my batchmates were still worrying about what is GSA and which resource is the best, which language is the best to start with, I had already started and committed to one thing and I was already halfway there. So then the opportunities started coming in. In my first year, the first opportunity that I got was Google Women Engineers program. This was like a 2-year mentorship program by Google. So I got the scholarship into that. Again, the entrance round, everything was based on DSA, online assessment. I nailed that. Why? Because I had already started doing DSA. So I got into that. I got into that mentorship. And afterwards, multiple other things that came along. So Twitter came with its internship. What was the coding test? What was the coding selection criteria? It was DSA. I nailed that because I was only concentrating on that. Then came Google SWE internship. What was the assessment round? Again, it was DSA. What was asked in the interviews? It was DSA. Everything was based on that one thing that I prepared for, and I only prepared for that. So I kept on crapping all the companies from Google to Intuit to Twitter to Uber, LinkedIn, Atlassian, DHO, all these things, but all these companies that asked me was DSA, and I was damn good at it. So if you want to get into your product based company, if you want to switch from service based to product based, make sure that you are doing DSA, you are going ahead and giving contest on lead code, you are showcasing your skills as well. Now, don't get me wrong, you cannot just do DSA and not do anything else. You have to participate in contests, you have to participate in hackathons so that you have those achievements. Nobody cares if you have solved 3,000 questions because they don't even know if whether you just copy pasted it. So you need to have skills, you need to have achievements to show that you have that. So if there's one thing that you can learn from my journey is that your degree does not matter at all. It does not matter if you get it from a tier 2 college, from a tier 3 college. It does not matter if you got 1 lakh rank in JE or you got 100 rank in JE. All that matters is what you do after you get into your engineering. Whether you do real life experience, whether you get internships, whether you concentrate on coding, AI, ML, which is the buzz right now, through which you can get the job that you actually want. So go ahead and check out Mirai School of Technology and their BTech program in AI ML. This is going to be really helpful for you all, as the last date is 4th July and their exam is also on 5th July. So hurry up, don't waste your time. And I hope you like this video and you understood exactly what it takes to get into these big tech companies. You don't need to be super smart, you don't need to be doing everything well in life. I am the dumbest person. I agree with that. I am ordinary. I have nothing extraordinary about me, but I put in the work, and that's what I do. So make sure that you're putting in the work. Make sure that you are pursuing things which will give you the real life experience. Okay, and that's it for the video. I hope you liked it. Please drop in the comments if there's something that you could relate with me, or if this helped you understand exactly what is required to get into these big tech giants. And I will see you in my next one. Until then, bye bye.